The one punch knockout king is back. Deontay Wilder, the bronze bomber, is back October the 15th against the Nordic nightmare, Robert Helenius. Let's talk about it here live on BWTM Sports. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You know, anytime I do a show, I try and keep it 100% real and keep away from being biased or show favoritism to fighters. And if I am going to show favoritism, I'll tell you straight up, I like this guy. So I give you that warning beforehand. So, you know, can even hope that you're well. You know, there's certain fighters across the YouTube platform that if you talk about them, you end up offending a certain crowd of people because you talk about, I don't give a damn. I talk about anybody and everybody, every fighter. And, you know, I will give you my honest opinion on each fighter. And I'll always tell you my true feelings and how I feel about the matter. That's why you come to my channel to watch. So I appreciate that. So now this fight between Robert Helenius and Deontay Wilder. Okay. So let me go back to track my way of thinking. And this is where I look at it. I look back at things at when Deontay Wilder was preparing for the third fight against Tyson Fury. And all the things I was seeing, all the pad work, all the combination punching, all the body work, blah, 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 all that stuff, it looked good. And I remember doing a video like, we're going to see a new Deontay Wilder, a revamped Deontay Wilder, a Deontay Wilder's going to do this, that, and the devil knows what, Deontay Wilder 2.0. What we saw a heavier Deontay Wilder trying a few things in the first round. And the best thing he was doing, which was kind of turning side on and blinding Tyson Fury and throwing the straight hand down the pipe. When he was throwing the jab and throwing the right hand down straight down the pipe, he was being effective. That's when that's the two times he knocked Fury down. And for some reason, he stopped doing that. And after about round 2, he was gassing. He was heavy. And that didn't work out in the end. So I do blame Malik Scott for that. And I always feel when these videos are coming out with Wilder and Scott, I always feel as if they are like Scott's advertising. Yeah, I'm the trainer of Deontay Wilder. Look at this pad. Look at what we're doing, and look at this, and look at what Deontay's doing, and look at what we're working. And it always feels not so genuine. And I don't know why I have this feeling. Why I feel like this, because I was really let down by the fight itself. Now, Wilder took some heavy blows in the second fight and especially the third fight. So we really don't know how much Wilder has got left. He's rested for a while. He's come back. He's coming back now to fight Robert Helenius. So I've seen the videos. When we saw a video before of Wilder, he was very big, strong, sturdy. Now we've seen Deontay Wilder back slim. So does Malik Scott know what Deontay Wilder's best weight is? Is he better when he's bigger, or is he better when he's thinner? People think that when he's slimmer, he's more effective and he doesn't run out of steam as much. But then when he's bigger, they think that he can absorb more punishment, and he can, especially against a guy like Tyson Fury, he's got weight to push Fury off. So he's now going back in the ring against a guy who's big himself, which is Robert Helenius. I think he's around 6'5", 6'6", Robert Helenius. So he's quite a tall dude as well, and quite a big guy. Another guy who's got a good amateur pedigree, got a good jab, nice right hand, good boxing ability, and will dig in and will fight. He knows what it's like to come from behind in a fight. He knows what it's like to be the underdog. He knows what it's like to be he was European champion. He was once hailed as, the second after the Klitschko's, he was going to be the heavyweight champion. Well, do you remember those days? And then, Deontay Wilder, Back in the day, Deontay Wilder, oh yeah, he's a big puncher, but he can't box. And then all this big celebration now. Deontay Wilder's coming back. Deontay Wilder's coming back. I'm like, well, you celebrating now? He's come back. Are you celebrating because he got knocked out by Tyson Fury, and you got what you wanted, which was him getting knocked out? So now you celebrate him because you didn't celebrate him that much when he was the heavyweight champion of the world. He was fighting bums and he was doing this, and he couldn't fight properly, couldn't do this and that. Now you all celebrate him like, oh, Deontay Wilder's back. He should fight Andy Ruiz, and you should fight the Joshua fighting. But this is a guy who can't box, according to some of you out there. So I don't like the fakeness of this rallying behind Deontay Wilder now because he got beat by Tyson Fury. I really don't like it. I just don't buy into it, you know. And all the pad work and stuff, just not interested. I don't care. All I care about is on the night that Deontay Wilder is at his best for this fight against Robert Helenius, and he needs to be at his best. If he's anything less than his best, and Robert Helenius starts to get that jab to work and pushes Robert Helenius back, and Robert Helenius pushes Deontay Wilder back, forces him back, neutralizes that punching power. He's been a sparring partner before. It's a dangerous, dangerous fight. It's not a fight I would be having as a comeback fight. You know, you want to find out what you've got left in the tank. Robert Helenius is not that dude. Now, if he comes back and he starches Robert Helenius now, wow. I'm not calling Robert Helenius no bum. I think Robert Helenius is a good heavyweight. I think he's a good heavyweight. And that was what Kawanaki's problem was. Kawanaki's not Wilder, not by no stretch of imagination. But Kawanaki's problem was he couldn't adjust. He couldn't make changes. He fought with his face. And there's somebody on this channel that used to come on his channel and tell me Kawanaki is the future. I see he's the future of what? You cannot fight in the heavyweight division with your face like that. You will get battered. And God forbid he had fought Deontay Wilder. It would have been an absolute... I would not like to have seen him. Anyway, he's fighting Robert Helenius, a guy who's well-schooled and... he's a good fighter, Robert Helenius, a good fighter. So if Wilder comes back and actually steamrolls Robert Helenius, my word, that's a good performance, bro. That's up there. That's a good performance. I mean, the Helenius knows Wilder can be knocked out, and he knows Wilder can be dropped. He knows Wilder can be hurt, and he's also seen a guy go down to Wilder's punching power, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times, and get up and win a fight. And that psychologically does something. That says something. So the aura of invincibility that Wilder had, the intimidation that Wilder once had, I think that's gone because he's been knocked out, he's been beaten up, he's been dropped, he's been hurt, so that's what it is. He's not the same Deontay Wilder that put on that stunning performance against Dominic Brazil or that performance against Bermain Stavern, that guy, and or even when he remember, even the Luis Ortiz fight, which I told you about, he'll be behind on points, he'll land a one shot and knock Ortiz out. Even when he fought the Frenchman, De Happus, who was ranked number 1 in France, he gave Wilder problems, and that was a younger Wilder and probably a younger, more hungrier Wilder than the Wilder today. So I'm concerned that people think that he's just going to walk out there and blast Helenius out there. If he does, it's heavyweight boxing. It can happen. But I don't think so. I think this is a dangerous fight to come back for Deontay Wilder, in my opinion. But that's what people are saying. Says Helenius will KO Wilder. Well, I hope that doesn't happen, because then we'll have Helenius versus Ruiz, or Helenius versus Luis Ortiz. I wouldn't mind seeing Helenius versus Ruiz, What I'm happy about is that Wilder has shrunk back down to the size or optimum weight I saw at his prime. Now we need to see if he can still perform to the standards since that trilogy. That's the question, at that weight against another big man in Robert Helenius. Fury is definitely shot one from the trilogy. Now, how many miles will show up on his odometer? That's the thing. How much? Because he was the one that got knocked out. He was the one who was taking the heavy shots on the ropes. So I don't know. You know it's them LDB sheep. Because I think Helenius is at least 6'7", 112, 30. But that's what I'm saying to you. Helenius is that man. He's that guy. He's that guy who's not just big and a basketball player. He's a big guy that can box. He's got a good amateur pedigree, you know. So Wilder only coming back because Heyman has ordered him to. Wilder own Heyman fighters. Wow. Okay. That's interesting. Happy to see Wilder not retiring. He's got a lot of big fights left in him. I will say, though, his resume riles me up a bit. There's no one on it. Okay. Wilder's only fighting in-house fights. Well, yeah, well, you know how difficult it is to get out house fights with these promoters. Helenius coming forward has a lot of guys looking like bruv. Yeah, I don't like the fight. I do not like the fight. Not as a comeback fight. Not as a comeback fight. As a comeback fight, I would give him Adam Kalinacki. As a comeback fight, I'd give him Trevor Bryant. Sorry, I keep using Trevor Bryant's name. As a comeback fight, I'd Trevor Bryant. As a comeback fight, I would even take Dillian White because of, you know, the durability thing with Dillian White now. And I would even take that fight. But I wouldn't take Robert Helenius. I just wouldn't. Too much. You're too much to lose. Too much to lose. Waddell and Reed want that investment back from Heyman, hence all the pay-per-views they're putting on. Ah, okay. Yeah, I did hear about this money about Heyman overpaid fighters. And I did hear that story, but you know, Heyman's a man that has come from the world of Motown, so I'm sure he knows finances the most, or see all them lawyers and all them promoters packed together don't have the know-how that Heyman has. I think there are two ways this to go. It could look like Brazil, or how Wilder starfished him, or it could look like Wilder Ortiz won, or it could look like Duhaupas fight, and Duhaupas couldn't punch. Helenius can. 550 million invested. Yeah. What about the money DAZN invested in Golovkin? Was it not 300 million in Golovkin? You know, not that. There's a bunch of fighters they invested money in DAZN. Never mind Heyman. What about DAZN? All the money they invested there. And are they getting their money back? Look at the money that was invested in Anthony Joshua. Are they going to get that money back? But now Hearn's talking about world tour for Anthony Joshua. They're going to get the money back somehow, haven't they? So, you know, world tour for Anthony Joshua. Oh dear, never mind. Heyman has about 400 fighters on the roster, and that's the closest thing to a mafia we can see. But if this is mafia, I'm just saying, Al, fight them twice a year, please. Yeah. You wonder when once upon a time Thurman's going to fight again. I ain't seen him in ages. So, you know, Spence and Crawford, when's that fight going to happen? Some people say it's going to happen in November. Who knows? The AJ circus. Well, yep, it is what it is. It is what it is. So, yeah, I think AJ World Tour for AJ, please. Lord of the Rings, King of the Rings. Don't let it be hip hop. Don't want to hear AJ on the mic. Yeah, maybe we can have AJ rapping to the ring. That might be the next thing. Dear. You know, every time I hear the name AJ now, it's like brain freeze. You know, when you have the ice cream and that ice cream goes to your head, that thing that happens. It's like that. But I don't know if Robert Helenius were to do the unthinkable. and beat Deontay Wilder, would that mean immediate retirement for Deontay Wilder? How do you bring him back from that? Too much too soon? If he looks bad against Robert Helenius, if he gets dropped by Robert Helenius. But then if you blast Robert Helenius out of there, will people say Robert Helenius is a bum? Will people say Robert Helenius is past it? I think Helenius got knocked out by, I think, was he Adamek? He got knocked out by somebody inconspicuous. He got knocked out. But that was a time when Helenius had a lot of managerial problems as well. So, yeah, I think it was Adamek, or was it Molina? My thing is UK fighters sometimes get pushed along too quickly without developing them slowly and build them over time. So much potential, but they rush it. Come on, UK. That's because of the promoter, Gerald Washington. Ah, there you go, Gerald Washington. Right. Yeah, big dude. I'll have to go back and watch a Gerald Washington fight, but I think he was having some real managerial issues there. I'm not making excuses, but he's having some managerial issues there. So I don't know if what was going on with Helenius there. Even when he fought Dillian White, that performance was very, And then you look at how he did it against Kawanaki, and then he did it again against Kawanaki. Only Hearn can't matchmake at world level. He can't matchmake full stop. His matchmaker needs to get sacked. I've said it 1,001 times. Thomas Adam was a good fighter, but he was pummeled by submission by Klitschko. He was looking at the ref between beatings and was relieved when the referee stopped it. Thomas Adamek. Wow. I actually like the Adamek journey because it was that, can he become heavyweight champion of the world? And you're looking going, if he does it, it'd be great, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. But you're just hoping, because he got some good decent wins on that little run he had, Adamek. So yeah, Adamek, shout out to Thomas Adamek, good fighter. To have come from cruiserweight up to heavyweight to do that, it really shows you how great Usyk is to live in the world with the big men, Right, I think that's it for Robert Helenius and Deontay Wilder. I'm not interested in the pad work. I'm not interested in any more videos of Deontay Wilder on the pads. Nice touching moment, by the way, for Deontay Wilder to meet Luis Ortiz and go to his camp. I'm sure that he'd much prefer to face Luis Ortiz again than face Andy Ruiz. I'm sure that would be the case. So I wish him both the best of luck. Helenius was knocked out by Duhapus as well. There you go. There you go. I didn't know that. I knew he got knocked up by one person, but wasn't that again? Please, can somebody correct me if I'm wrong? But wasn't that a time he was going for that managerial issues? I'm sure it was. I'm checking up about it now. So, according to Robert Helenius, let me bring this article up because I may as well bring it up before I end. Let me share the article. It's a bit of share screen. Bring the article up, and we'll read it together. There we go. So, if you can see the article there, and let's bang this in here. And it's from Sky Sports, because I was just reading up about Helenius here. And let's see what he says here. Robert Helenius doing everything in his power to beat Deontay Wilder. Robert Helenius knows Deontay Wilder well, inspired him for his last two fights with Tyson Fury, and he's confident he can spring the upset in October. Helenius believes Fury would punch out Usyk and intends to beat Wilder to set up a shot at the WBC heavyweight champion. Let's see what it says down here. For Finland's Hellenius, it would be a major opportunity of his career. He knows Wilder well, having sparred with him for his last 2 fights with Fury, and he's confident he can spring the upset. I'm a different fighter from Fury, so he is going to have to prepare differently, Hellenius told Sky Sports. He made a good fight, the last fight against Fury. Of course, they were really tough fights, but I think he improved every fight. I see him as a completely new fighter, and I know that people can change between fights. I don't think that coming off a loss is going to be a big problem. He's got a lot of experience. I think it's going to be a really, really good fight. Hellenius had to beat Karanaki twice, like I just spoke about, over the course of 2020 and 21 to even get himself this eliminator. I've been waiting for a fight this big for a long time now. I've been preparing since January, he says. It's been a tough road. I've been boxing for 25 years, so I'm a veteran in the sport. I've had my ups and downs. I've had a lot of injuries on the way, but the last couple of years have been amazing, and a lot of good work's been done. People are going to see that I'm not that old, that I have a couple of years still in me. I have had good training camp after good training camp, so I've still been improving. Where he to beat Wilder, that would be the biggest win of his career. It's the next step. I have to prove myself in this fight as well, so I can get the world championship fight. It's not going to be easy. That's why we have been doing everything, working all year. We know we have to do everything, put everything on the line. I feel I'm ready for this fight. I'm going to do everything in my power. I've been waiting for the world championship for a long time. So there you have it. Like I said, Robert Hellenius is, I know talk is cheap, but Hellenius is dangerous. And I said already, before I read the article, Hellenius has experience. He's been beaten. He's been knocked out. You know, he's that kind of dangerous guy in the heavyweight division that spells upset all over him. He's one of them type of guys. Shook says, Hellenius a good fighter, but I think he was managed poorly in his prime years, so we didn't get to see his full potential, but he was always in shape and ready to go. Wilder versus Hellenius is not a guaranteed win for Wilder, but I like the fact this is such a competitive fight. Yep, it's not a win. It's not for me Wilder's going to blow him out of the round. Ingram, hope you're well, brother. My guy is back for more Brazil type chaos. Blessings to the family. There you go. That's the spirit. Back your guy. So hey, he's the bronze bomber, and he is the most devastating puncher, you know, in the heavyweight division. So, with that being said, Hellenius could be winning the fight, and then Wilder lands one, and it's all over. Or he could walk out there and actually walk over Hellenius and get caught. But I don't think that happens. Hellenius knows Wilder over two training camps. He knows Wilder, and he's preparing Wilder for Fury. So I think it makes it an exciting fight, make it a dangerous fight. But either Heyman and Wilder know something about Hellenius, or it's a dangerous fight. A dangerous fight. So I think I'll leave it as that. Thank you always for watching BWTM Sports. Really appreciate it. Love the support. Thank you.